This is going to be an important and an exciting episode, as tomorrow we have the FOMC. Tomorrow at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time is the Fed's rate decision and accompanying statement. Now, they're probably taking nothing more than a wait and see approach. At 2:30 p.m., a half hour later, is the press conference. You could find that on YouTube. Just search Federal Reserve press conference tomorrow and be able to watch it. It is the question and answer portion that is the most important at that point. At that point, you don't have a prepared statement. Powell could accidentally introduce something new to the market, and the market could then price it in rapidly. You have to watch for that portion. It is after the mic drop tomorrow. It's after the press conference concludes that the market normally takes and holds that direction, at least to Asia. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll be live streaming in the morning. We're going to get ourselves prepared. This video is going to get ourselves prepared right now. And then tomorrow, after the press conference, I will analyze the market's reaction and break that down and share that with you. Let's take a look at what's going on in this today, because it was an important session. You could see over here, starting on the S&P, we're going to look at the S&P. We're going to look at the Nasdaq. We're going to look at the Dow, gold, silver. We'll also take a look at Bitcoin and the dollar, starting here on the S&P 500. You could see that we were watching this trend line over here and the breakout that occurred today. Now, during the live stream earlier this morning, as price was coming into resistance, we were watching that. What has happened since? You have to pay attention to signal versus noise. Let me just take a break for a second, come over to what happened. No one is going to be getting their stimulus checks anytime soon. There was a bipartisan committee that was looking to pass a stimulus measure, $1.5 trillion, in order to help people get food on the table. They decided that they didn't want to pass that. That is noise. Why is that noise? First of all, right? Look how the market has responded since. Whether we're looking at the S&P off its low, whether we're looking at the Dow, or we're looking at the Nasdaq, they sold off on the news, but that's all noise. And when I say it's noise, is because one way or another, stimulus will be coming. Now, we don't know if it's going to be before the November election or if it's going to be after. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like. But at the end of the day, there's going to be more stimulus. There's going to be more expansion of the Fed's balance sheet. It's all coming. Now, this does put a little bit more pressure on Powell. The fact that the government has not come to any type of agreement in order to help the people, any type of stimulus for the economy. It puts a little bit more of the onus back to the Federal Reserve. That's probably going to be mentioned. He's going to mention that the government needs to step up. Tomorrow, what's important? It's not so much trying to figure out what the Fed is going to say and how the market's going to react, right? We're going to talk about gold in a second. How is gold going to react tomorrow? It's what's more important is to hear and understand what has been shared with the market tomorrow, and then watch how price reacts. That is signal. As we're looking at right now, everything is in a pretty critical space. What do I mean by critical? We're going to be looking at different instruments, specifically the dollar, gold, silver, and you're going to see that they are consolidating, getting ready to pop. Tomorrow is going to be the catalyst that sends these assets moving one way or another. Let's look over here. By the way, if you didn't watch Sunday's video, go back to the channel, watch Sunday's video. As we were coming into the support over here, we talked about in that video what the entry looked like, right? Anyone still holding that, hopefully you took into the resistance a little bit of profit, either here or up here, but is still holding that trade. What happened today is super bullish so far. What happened today after breaking out of this trend line over here, this was resistance. After breaking that resistance, we've came back and tested it as support. You could see that right there. That coincides with this upward sloping trendline support as well. Two of these areas. And now if we resume off and right above that last bit of resistance, that's super bullish here on the S&P 500. We talked about in Sunday's video what the entry would look like. Last week, we also over here, when we took a long right over there, that was the place to take the long. Now, probably most people got stopped out at break even because we never followed through. I'm targeting and continue to target up here in this area. All right. What else is next? Let's look at the Dow. The Dow was very interesting this morning. During the live stream, we looked at it as it was coming into resistance. It was the first to peel back and wick downwards. It was the first. Notice that it's into support, right? Look at the breakout. Here's the bull flag. Here's the breakout into resistance. It's now pulling back into support. If we start making higher highs here, that would be very bullish on the Dow. That would be very bullish. That could send us back towards testing somewhere in the neighborhood of 28,865 up in this area over here, right? What about the Nasdaq? We're going to get into that in 1 second. We're going to get into what specifically. It wasn't only the breakdown of the stimulus talks over here. We had other things happening today. We're going to look at that in 1 second. But we were looking this morning as we were into the resistance. As we were into the resistance, you could see we've since come back off, found local support. You see that right there, that local support. And so far, we are peaking back up and resuming off there. A breakout above this resistance over there, taking out that high of this session. That's a buy signal over there on the Nasdaq as well. Pay attention that even though talks broke down, the market has since bounced back from it. What does that say to you? The market knows more stimulus is coming eventually. We did have today, we had Apple's event, right? This was the first one in 8 years where they did not release a new iPhone product. The market, what did it think of that? Is that signal or noise, right? So it's been about 6 weeks now since the Federal Reserve has been buying corporate bonds, been buying Apple bonds. Are they going to return? Like I said, right now, Powell is taking a wait and see approach. Why is he doing that? Because the markets are trading at all-time highs, right? Does he need to be in there intervening? No. Will he be back as soon as things start dropping? You betcha. He'll be back really quick. What about Facebook? Facebook came off today. Kim Kardashian is getting off of freezing Instagram and Facebook, and she's inviting her, what is it, like 57 million followers to follow her. Not so good. Not so good. What else do we have over here? We have the financials trading down. There's an old adage that as the financial goes, so does the market. Watch if we break down over here. However, what else is going on? What did Square do today? Square was up 7%. Why do I bring that up? Because we're talking about financials. There's a difference, I'm picking up on it, between Finance 1.0 and Finance 2.0. You got to be aware of how the trends are changing. Look, is that signal today? I don't know. All right, what else do we have over here? We had, by the way, and we're going to get into it in a second, but we'll start over here looking at the dollar index. Let me bring up the chart for you. We'll move over to the dollar. Before we get into gold and silver, we'll get into gold and silver in just one moment. Let me clean this up for us over here. By the way, talk about dedication. I recorded this whole video, and the sound was not coming out from the mic. As I was getting ready to edit it and publish it, here we are again doing it over. But tomorrow's the FOMC, and it's really important everyone is prepared. Everyone is ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow, as you're about to see, we're going to get some big movement. Why do I say that? So right over here this morning, we were watching the dollar down, but you notice that this support has held right over here. Look at these wicks. Look at these wicks. Here's another one. The dollar has not been able to break down. There are just no sellers over there. Now, the buyers are far and few between. What is happening is a bit of a war, right? You could see this over here. You could see on the bottom, you could see prices making higher lows. And on the top here, it's making lower highs. It is coiled down, and it is ready to break. Tomorrow is going to be the catalyst. Tomorrow, this is going to break out, or it's going to break down. If it breaks out over here and it's able to clear above, we have some resistance right over there, the last swing high at 93.64. And then we also have another point up here. If we get above 94, that is definitely the start of a new counter trend move on the dollar. It'll be coming on the FOMC day. That will be something to really pay attention to. Watch out for that. However, adversely, we could easily break down over here. And if we do break down, right? As soon as we take out 92.70, at that point, we could be testing the yearly low on the dollar, maybe even making a whole nother leg down. Tomorrow is a super important day. How does that affect the markets? Is it possible that you have the stock market rising as the dollar is rising? Yep. If you have a weak dollar, does that help stocks? Yep. Watch each one individually. Sometimes correlations are there and sometimes they're not. What about gold? What's going on? I have this clear little roadmap for you right now. There's a couple of things that I want to bring to your attention. The first being, this is the important level to watch. As long as we're above 1900, the bullish structure is very much in place. What is happening right now is we are consolidating. Same thing as in the dollar index. We continue to make these lower highs and higher lows, right? Price is coiling. Do you see price coiling? It's going to be a break tomorrow. Now, you could have a couple of things happen, by the way. Now, do not take the break, right? Why do I say that? Is it possible that if we broke out to the upside, that we test and break to new all-time highs without ever having a pullback? Sure, that could happen. So what? Wait for the first consolidation afterwards and then the resumption out and get involved. Don't feel FOMO, because most of the time you don't get a clean breakout. Most of the time you get a breakout, a retest, and then you have an opportunity for a high probability trade if you resume out of it. Now tomorrow, expect the possibility, as often happens during FOMC days. Again, I'm going to break it down for you in the morning as best as possible and then again in the afternoon. But you could have a lot of whiplash. You could get a fake break to the upside and then price snap back down. And guess what? You have a lot of traders caught on the wrong side of that trade. Do not be one of those traders. If you get a fake break, and it doesn't only need to be the upside, it could also be a fake break to the downside. If you break 1900, what does that mean? Well, that doesn't mean anything. You could get a wick. You have to wait for the close of the daily for confirmation. Okay? And that doesn't mean get short. If you were getting short, you wait for the bounce. Maybe the bounce doesn't come until we test towards 1866. And then maybe we only back bounce up to 1900. Maybe we don't even test this trend line, which was support, should be resistance, right? That's why you watch. That's why you're ready to attack. It's possible that you get a fake break to the downside and then snap up to the upside. Watch tomorrow. It's super critical. If you're not sure about what you're doing, stay on the sidelines until it's very clear to you, because tomorrow should lead to a big move. And you don't want to be caught on the wrong side of that. You don't want to be feeling like you're missing out on it either, because you're going to have a time to enter if we break out over here and start another leg, whether that leg is up or down. The same exact thing is happening on silver. Everyone can see over here, you could see that we are consolidating, right? We are ready to break out. Tomorrow's FOMC is going to be the catalyst. Get ready. We are very bullish over here, above $26. Technically, the bullish structure remains very much in place. Generally speaking, when you have a big leg up, this was a huge move on silver. We went from $17 to $30, right? In a month. It's a huge leg since we've been consolidating, right? Generally speaking, the next move is going to be up. Now, you can't you just don't enter hoping that it's going to be up. You wait for that signal. You wait for the chart analysis to get you in there at the right time. This is not a game of hope. It's a game of skill. It's all about managing trades, not trying to predict what's going to happen, but watching what is happening and reacting accordingly. That's why tomorrow you're waiting to see what the Fed introduces, even if that's they're taking a posture of a wait and see approach. Well, let's see what the market thinks of that. Does the market like that, or does the market throw a tantrum looking for the Fed to intervene sooner? We have to wait and see. After you see what's happening, that's when you get involved, not beforehand. Don't go into tomorrow hoping that something is going to happen. Don't have a position that you don't feel that you should be in right now, hoping that it works out in your favor. That's not going to end well. What's going on over here with oil? Now, oil is probably bid up right now because of the hurricanes happening. Generally speaking, that's what happens. Nevertheless, as we came into this 37 support, right, what have I been saying? That's a place to lean into. Anytime you're in an uptrend, now oil's in an uptrend ever since it bottomed, ever since it went negative, ever since it went to zero and then negative, right? On the forward contract, the June contract was trading at what? I think negative $47. What's going on over now? This isn't an uptrend. We pull back into support. It was the first time in months, as we were just sideways, that I said, all right, well, if you're interested, I'm not. But if you're interested in buying oil, watch for a resumption off of the support. That's what you do. You buy off support in uptrends, sell off resistance in downtrends. Now, this could be a fake move. We were just looking at fake outs out of triangles. It's quite possible, right, that in the next couple of days, this trades down. If it does, this looks like that looks like a strong support over there. Look at that resistance. Look at that support. That's a level to lean into if it holds, to buy oil. Now, I'm not bullish on oil whatsoever. You have a lack of demand right now. You have a bunch of oil sitting on ships out at sea right now. That's not really so bullish. Nevertheless, follow what's on the charts. Trade what is happening, not what you expect should be happening. Bitcoin today looking very good. Right? What happened was we broke out over here out of this 10,570 resistance. Okay? That was the top of the blue box. Not only did we break out, we then came back in, tested that broken resistance, flipped it to support, and has since resuming upwards. It's very bullish, the price action on Bitcoin. Right? If you missed this morning's live stream, do take a look after this. Very important. And we talked about how the next move on Bitcoin would then be targeting over here at 11,300, right? However, you only have Bitcoin doing all the work today. You do not have Ethereum or any other of the altcoins participating outside of Bitcoin Cash participating in this rally today. Here's a look at that, actually. Here you can see over here, you could see Bitcoin, right? And then everything else snapped away from it. What's going to happen? Is Bitcoin going to get pulled back towards them, or are they going to get pulled up towards Bitcoin? I don't know. We have to wait and see. Right now, though, the fact that Bitcoin is doing the initial work, that's what happened over here when we broke out starting the bull market. Bitcoin did all the hard work first, and then it was the altcoins that caught up. Could that be happening right now? Possibly. You have to follow price action, right? And right now, this is very bullish. We've since broken out of the resistance, came back, tested it as support, and are resuming out of it upwards. Very bullish price action. Tomorrow is such an important day. We're going to get ourselves ready for it in the morning together, right? Doing what we do, going over the charts, putting in that time with that strong analysis to keep us on the right side of the market. And then what we're going to do after the press conference tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to dig in, do my analysis, and I'm going to make sure that we all have a lot of clarity, because tomorrow's a big day that's going to lead to some big moves, right? As we've been consolidating, it's you try to stay as close to break even as possible. And then as the market expands, markets are always going from expansion to consolidation, from consolidation to expansion. As we could see over here, and it's clear as day, all of this consolidation taking place, right? We're getting ready to break. Tomorrow's the day that we're going to break, whether here on the dollar also, right? Everyone could see that what is going on. Tomorrow's the day we're going to break. We're going to be there. We're going to be there. What happens if you get a signal overnight? Do you take it? Yeah, there's some good trading until tomorrow. By the time London closes tomorrow, everything will settle in and it'll be on pause for a few hours until the FOMC. We'll take a good look in the morning together. If you're still here, I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for everything. I look forward to sharing more with you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.